the 10 biggest deal-making real estate business mistakes I've made so you don't have to make them. Number 7, not screening the tenants. Now, I think one of the best wealth builders in real estate long-term, if you know what you're doing, is buying, holding, and renting quality cash flow properties. I didn't say manage it. 70 to 80% of the people, in my opinion, even management companies and landlords, landladies, don't know how to manage property. Now, here's the mistake I made, so don't you make it. My mentor had been managing rental properties for many years, and he taught me some of the key components to screen these tenants really well. So let me give you some of the checklists. I've got whole courses on landlording, but let me give you some golden tips. Number 1, get 2 or 3 landlord, landlady references. So if they're renting from John right now and they're horrible tenants, and there's a chance you call John or your management company calls John and said, hey, how's Jill as a tenant? Oh, she's great. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend her. I'm going to help her move in this weekend with you because Jill's a horrible tenant and he or she wants to get rid of her. That's an example, correct? So you need to check with 2 or 3 previous landlords where they're not living there anymore. You do a credit criminal background check on everyone who's going to live in the property because usually it's not the tenant's problem. They might be pretty good, but it's their boyfriend, girlfriend, kid who's a nightmare, who's destroying the property and bothering the neighbors. So remember that one. The third one is, of course, interview them and watch for their patterns, do a background credit check on them. It's super important. And then we inspect our properties every month. It's in the lease, gives us permission to come in. We notify the tenants. Of course, every state's different. Check with your laws. So those are some basic screening tips. My landlord gave them to me, and I got excited. So when I got my first property, I ran an ad, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, Hermitage, Tennessee, 4656 Forest Ridge Drive, $750 rent or whatever it was. And I got a lot of calls. And I was so excited because I was so desperate for money. And I drove out there. This guy shows up. I met him in person. Another big mistake. Be very careful who you're meeting. We meet them all at once because it could be dangerous. We want to take care of you. Security. So anyway, I violated every rule. Went out there and met him. He did show up. And obviously I didn't get killed. And he said, look, I'm a good tenant. I really need a place tomorrow. Can you rent it to me now? And he pulled out a wad of cash. And I said, approved. He gave me a deposit and 1 month's rent. Didn't screen him, didn't do credit criminal background check, didn't do checks on who's gonna live in the property. I saw the money, got excited, skipped over all the rules. Don't you do it. System, checklist, we have them all. You need to do it or your management company needs to do it and manage the managers. And it's really challenging to find a good management company for small scattered site properties. Trust me, my students and I have been involved in hundreds, if not thousands of these, and we know the real deal. It takes time to find a good one. So I let them move in. I did get a lease signed for 1 year. Also everything in writing, everything in writing, everything in writing. Didn't check anything. Well, that was the only rent he paid. I had to evict him, and what's better is we had so much trouble, not just the money we lost in having to get him out of there, do an eviction. It took a month or 2 in Tennessee, pretty quick. The phone calls, the time, the aggravation. The place was empty. He did a lot of damage. We never found him again. And we later found out when we inspected the place after he left that he left weapons underneath the house. So not only was it a money-losing proposition, but it was dangerous, took time, stressful, and I lost a couple months. And I almost quit landlording because I made a mistake. And I went to my mentor and said, this rental stuff's not working. He said, no, Bobby. That's what he called me. He said, you're not working. You're not following the systems I gave you. It's a business. Run it like a business. Checklist, systems. I didn't do it. So please, make sure you screen the tenants. And because you buy a property with tenants in it, re-screen them. Check them out. That's very important. And the next thing is, just because you're going to rent it and get some money, I'd rather have a place empty for a month or 2 than have a bad tenant that you didn't screen. It'll cost you a lot more money, time, aggravation, stress. Run the business, do it right, screen your tenants.